Very good afternoon everyone. Welcome back in this series of BFM for your CAIIB exam. In the last two classes we have discussed. Is anyone there? Can you please let me know? Is the audio video clear? Anyone? So in the last two classes we have done what is correspondent banking, what are the types of correspondent accounts. In the last class, we did all the definitions of PIO, NRI as per the Income Tax Act 1961, also as per the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, right? So this is the thing which we have done earlier. Now from today, we will be starting, we will try to understand the NRI accounts. What are the NRI accounts? What all are the types of NRI accounts? What are the provisions? Right? So each and every provision is important because case study based questions will be asked from you, right? So you need to understand each provision with greater clarity and detail in order to answer the case study related questions, okay? So let's start with the NRI accounts. And before understanding, see, since to understand the NRI accounts, you need to understand what is the definition of NRI. Who do we consider as an NRI? Who do we consider as a PIO as per the Income Tax Act as well as per FEMA? Right? So we have done the definitions. Now, since you know NRIs cannot have the usual banking business as the resident of India does, right? So we need to have a different sort of system to extend the banking facilities to them as well. So we have a different set of system and those we call as NRI accounts, okay? NRI accounts. They are both in Indian rupee, in your domestic currency and in foreign currency as well, right? So NRIs have been provided with various schemes for opening bank accounts and investing in India. So they might also be interested in investments in India, right? Apart from opening just a bank account and bank transactions. So for banking purposes, for investment purposes, they have these certain accounts like the NRE account, which is your non-resident external rupee account. Rupee account means it will be in your Indian currency. Then you have non-resident ordinary rupee account, which is your NRO, again rupee account, so it will be in Indian currency. Then you have FCNRB, which is your foreign currency non-resident bank account. So as the name suggests, it will be in your foreign currency. Getting this point? Then there will be special non-resident rupee account, SNRR account. So that will again be in your Indian rupee. So 3 out of these are in Indian rupee and 1 is in your foreign currency. So let's try to understand each account in detail. What are the provisions, what can be there and what cannot be. Remember, direct questions have been asked as case studies from this section. So this is very important. Listen carefully and try to understand everything, right? Now, so here as it is written that as can be above observed from the names that 3 are in Indian rupee and 1 in foreign currency. For opening any non-resident account, you should remember this, for opening any of the non-resident account, bank has to obtain an application in the prescribed form along with an undertaking that the account holder shall inform the bank the date of arrival as and when the arrival is scheduled, right, for permanent settlement. So to basically open non-resident account, bank has to obtain in written in the given prescribed format all these things, like the account holder shall inform the bank whenever he or she is planning to return in case of permanent settlement. Then the bank should also obtain necessary documents like copy of passport, visa, employment certificate if required, right, to confirm non-resident status. So these services should be granted only to non-residents as specified in the rules. Clear? So let's understand the first category of our account, non-resident account, which is the non-resident external rupee account, okay, NRE account. What is it? What all are the particulars? Let's see. So this is NRE account, the first category of your NRI accounts, right? Non-resident, E stands for external rupee account. So first thing, as the name suggests, it will be in your Indian currency, right? So these are the particulars written here. What are the basis of describing this account? And then we have the description. Okay, so this is NRE account and these are the particulars. Let's see, the first particular is who can open an NRE account. This is the very first question we need to address, right? Which is the first, who can open this account? This is the first question, right? Who all are eligible? So your NRIs and your PIOs. Now that's why, you know, we did the definition earlier before this class. In the second class, we have discussed all the definitions of NRI and PIO. Whom do we consider as NRI? Whom do we consider as PIO in very detail, right? As per Income Tax Act for the purpose of taxation, also as per the FEMA 1999. So you should refer to those classes if you do not remember the criteria for classifying an individual as an NRI or as a PIO, right? So who can open an account? An NRE account. So first answer to this question is NRIs and PIOs. So your non-resident Indians as well as persons of Indian origin. Only these two can open an NRE account with India or Indian banks. Is that clear? With the help of the dealers out there, the brokers, or the brokers means to say the correspondent banks which are authorized by the RBI to do these kind of activities for you, right? Authorized dealers, ADs as we call them, ADs, authorized dealers. Clear? So this is the answer. Who can open an NRE account? NRIs and PIOs. NRIs and PIOs. You are not getting notified about the live class? You have you not turned on the notifications on or that bell icon, right? You should turn on the bell icon if you want to get notified, right? Bhanushri, okay? Then you will be notified about the class, okay? Alright, so this is clear. Individual entities of Pakistan and Bangladesh shall require prior approval of Reserve Bank of India. Now, as you know, who are PIOs, persons of Indian origin, who are non-resident, citizens of some other country, apart from which countries, as I told you, whichever are specified by the central government, right? Specified by the central government. Yes, you are able to recall these things or not from the previous classes, the definition of PIO and the NRI. Okay. Now, so in case of individuals who belong to these two countries, Pakistan and Bangladesh for that matter, will require to take a prior approval of your RBI. Clear? In order to open this NRE account. This is something which you should remember. Remember all these clauses, they will be asked as case studies. You will have to substitute your answer, substantiate your answers with these valid points. Okay. So this is the first thing. Who can open? NRIs and PIOs. But the entities or individuals for this opening up of this account belonging to Bangladesh, either Bangladesh or Pakistan, will need a prior approval from Reserve Bank of India. Clear? Then, is there any provision of a joint account? That, you know, a relative, you can open the account jointly with the help of a relative, or you can hold a joint account with your relative, say residing in India, right? So is there any provision of joint account in NRE? Let's see. It may be held jointly. Yes, there is a provision. It may be held jointly. So NRE account can be a joint account. Okay, NRE account can be a joint account. It can be held jointly in the names of two or more NRIs or PIOs. So 2 or more NRIs or PIOs can have a joint NRE account. Is this clear? Alright, but NRIs and PIOs can hold jointly with a resident relative. They can also hold it jointly with a resident relative, which is to say, suppose there is a person who is NRI and there is a person who is a PIO, right? So either of them want to open a joint NRE account with one of their relatives who is residing in India. They can open that. They can have a joint account with the resident relative, but on former or survivor basis. This is, you should remember, on former or survivor basis. What does it mean? It means that it is only when the account holder dies, it is only after the demise of the account holder that the relative in that case who has held the joint account with the NRI or PIO, whosoever is there, right, can run that account only after the demise of the original account holder. Are you getting this point? Right? So there is a provision of joint account. NRIs and PIOs can have a joint account. They can have a joint account with the resident relative of theirs in India, for example, but on the basis of former and survivor. This is something which you should remember, former and survivor basis, which is to say that that relative who has been made as a joint account holder later will only be able to operate this account after the demise of the original account holder. Is this clear? Okay. Relative as defined in the Companies Act 2013. Who is the relative for this purpose? This is also defined, okay, because relative is a very broad term. So we have relative as a term defined for this particular matter. Who will we consider as a relative? It is defined in the Companies Act 2013. Okay, we'll see what is the definition of relative later on as per this Act 2013, Companies Act 2013. The resident relative can operate the account as a power of attorney for that matter when the account holder is alive, okay, during the lifetime of the NRI or PIO account holder. This is something which you should remember regarding the joint account holding of NRE account. First thing, can they have joint account? Yes, they can have. Second thing, can the joint account holder operate it in the name of the other person, the original account holder, when he is alive? No. So there is a condition applied here that the relative resident of the NRI or the PIO can operate that account after the demise of the original account holder. Second thing, if the relative wants or the account holder wants the relative to operate this, that can only be done as power of attorney only on the behalf of the original account holder. Are you getting this point? So it is clear, written clearly here that the resident relative can operate the account as a power of attorney. What is power of attorney? Power of attorney means when you have a representative to work from your side. You have given the power to someone to represent you or to operate something on behalf of you. This is your power of attorney, right? So that relative can operate that account as a power of attorney holder, not as a joint account holder. This is the difference which you should remember when the original account holder is alive. Is this clear? Right? This is the thing. Then next case. In which currency will this account be opened up or the funds here will be placed? It will be, as the name suggests, in Indian currency, right? Indian currency. Currency will be your INR, Indian National Rupee, right? So it will be in Indian currency. This account will be maintained in Indian currency. Then next criteria is type of account. So when we say NRE account, we understand that this is for NRIs and PIOs, but usually we have certain types of accounts, right? Like we open our accounts with the commercial bank. So either it is a saving account, a current account, a fixed deposit, or with postal or post offices like recurrent deposits, RDs, right? So all these types are there. Are these types available in NRE account as well? Yes. So NRE account can be opened up in all these format. It can be a savings account. It can be a current account. It can be a recurring account, recurring deposit, right? Like RD, or it can be a fixed deposit. Or it can be a fixed deposit. Is this clear? Right? So you should remember that the NRE account can be of either of these types. Can be a saving account, can be current account, can be recurring account, or can be fixed deposit. Right? Next criteria regarding NRE account is period of fixed deposits. Period for fixed deposits. If it is a fixed deposit type of account, what will be the period of that fixed deposit? Right? It has to have a maturity period, a lock-in period. So from 1 year to 3 years, broadly, from 1 year to 3 years. However, banks are allowed to accept NRE deposits above 3 years from their asset liability point of view. That would be assessed by the bank itself if the asset liability condition of the bank is allowing to do that. Are you able to understand this? Right? So what will be the period of these fixed deposits? The period usually is say 1 year to 3 years. Okay, usually it will be from 1 year to 3 years. Okay, 1 year to 3 years. But in case the deposit has to be for more than 3 years, that will be decided by the bank, depending on the asset liability condition of the bank. If the asset liability assessment of the say risks lying there with the assets and the asset liability condition allows the bank to do that, then only the bank can extend that deposit say for beyond 3 years. But usually that period for fixed deposit will be 1 to 3 years. Clear? Okay. So remember this thing. So we have seen so far that it can be opened by NRI and PIO. Okay, it can be a joint account. In joint account, we have seen that joint account can be opened up with a relative who is a resident of India. But there are two conditions here. First condition, that if the relative wants to operate as a joint account holder, that can be done only after the demise of the person, the NRI or the PIO. But when the NRI or the PIO is alive, in that case, the relative can operate it as a power of attorney only on the behalf of that person. Power of attorney on the behalf of that person. Clear? Then we have seen currency will be Indian rupee. Then we have seen type of account, saving, current, recurring, fixed deposit. Any of them can be there. Okay. Then we have seen the period of fixed deposits 1 to 3 years generally. Okay. Then let's see the permissible credits. Let's see the permissible credits. What are the credits? Credit means the incoming funds. Okay. What all types of incoming funds are allowed into this NRE account? Okay. What all are permissible to be credited into your NRE account? Let's see. So first thing, credits permitted to this account are inward remittance from outside India. First thing, remittances, as you know, right? The money sent by the non-resident Indians, right? So inward remittances, the NRI, PIO sending money to India, so those will be accepted to be credited into your NRE account. First thing, so inward remittance from outside India, this is allowed. Okay. Then second, interest accruing on the account, any interest which the account or the deposit there is earning. Okay. Interest accruing on the account, this is also allowed. Then interest on investment. if any investment out of that out of those funds lying over in this account has been done and that investment is fetching some interest, is earning some interest, that will also be a permissible credit into this account. Getting this point, right? So interest on investments will also be permitted to come in this account or to be deposited in this account. Clear? Then transfer from other NRE or FCNRB accounts. We haven't done these accounts yet, but when we will do them, you will understand what do we mean by other FCNRB account or other NRE account. NRE account is something which we are discussing right now, right? So if there is other NRE account which tries to transfer some fund to this NRE account, then it is also permissible. Okay, it is also permitted. So one NRE account can transfer the funds to another NRE account. That is a permissible credit. Clear? Okay. Transfer from one NRE to the other. Okay. Then what else is permitted? Maturity proceeds of investments, if such investment were made from this account or through inward remittance. If any inward remittance which came to this account in India has been used, that fund has been used, or any fund deposited in this NRE account has been used to do some investments, like investments may be in the securities or some other instruments, and the maturity proceeds are there of those investments, the maturity proceeds, right? Those maturity proceeds of funds can also be credited to this account. Got this point? For example, someone has done some investment into something and the maturity proceeds, the earnings are there, okay, so that can be reflected in the NRE account, can be credited in the NRE account. Is that clear? Right? So this is the thing. Current income, then current income like rent, dividend, pension, interest, etc. will be constituted as a permissible credit to the NRE account. So current income sources of that person will also be permitted to be credited into this account. Do you get that? So what all categories are there? Be it your current income sources. What can be your current income sources? Rent. You are earning rent from any source currently, right? Current income it has to be. Okay, so currently you received a rent from somewhere, your property which you have rented upon, right? Dividend, if you receive from something. Dividend is what? Dividend is distributed profit. What is dividend? What is dividend? Anyone? Dividend is your distributed profit. Okay, dividend is basically the profit distributed among its shareholders, whosoever has a share in that profit of the company or something else, right? So this is your dividend. So if you receive a dividend, that would be, then pension, if you are receiving any pension, okay. Interest, if you are receiving any of these current income sources, will also be credited into your NRE account. They are permitted to be credited, right? Okay, so these are the permissible credits. Credits related to inward remittances, then interest accruing on this account, then interest on investment if you are earning any for that matter, transfer from other NRE account or transfer from other FCNRB account, right? Maturity proceeds from an investment and the current income, like these are the permissible credits to your NRE account. I hope this is clear to you all, right? Easy to remember. I have explained everything to you. What is a dividend? Dividend is basically the distributed profit, which share of profit which you receive, right? So this is the thing. Then we have seen the permissible credits, what all can come into this account. For what all purposes can you send money from this account? The permissible debits, like let's look into this. What are the permissible debits? Okay, permissible debits. Permissible debits are your local disbursements basically. all your local disbursements which are to be made out of this, out of the money deposited into this account. Okay, local means within India, right? So any local disbursement is allowed to be made out of this account. Remittances outside India. See, you can receive remittance in NRE account. You can also send remittance from NRE account outside India to any of your relative residing out of India. Did you get this? So remittances, incoming remittances are also allowed in NRE account, and outward remittances are also allowed in your NRE account, right? Transfer to other NRE, FCNRB accounts. Since if other NRE or FCNRB account were transferring any fund to this NRE, it was allowed, then you can also transfer fund to other NRE or FCNRB account, right? So it can happen both the ways. You can receive any funds transferred by other NRE or FCNRB account. Also you can send funds to, you can transfer the funds or money to some other NRE or FCNRB accounts. Clear? Okay. And investments in India. If you want to do some investments in India, for that matter also the debit is permissible. If you want to do some investments in India, for that matter as well, the debit is permissible. So you know, local disbursements are allowed. Investment also in India is allowed. Clear? You want to do investment in India, you can do out of these funds placed in your NRE deposits. Right? Okay. Now, when we talk about repatriability, are these funds mentioned in this account are repatriable? What is repatriability? First thing, repatriability of something, be it anything, right? Be it of a person, of a thing, of money. Repatriability means you are able to send back that particular person or thing to its source of origin. Okay, ability to send something back to its source of origin is your repatriability. So is repatriability allowed in this account? Yes. Remember, it is fully repatriable. It is fully repatriable. Fully repatriable means the money deposited here can anytime be sent back to its source of origin without any permission required. So it is fully repatriable. The funds placed under this account are fully repatriable. Clear? They can be sent back to their source of origin from which they came. Are you getting my point? Clear? So this is fully repatriable account, NRE account. Then comes a very important question which everyone is concerned about: taxability. Is this taxable or not, right? So when we talk about taxability, the income earned in the account, whatever income you have received in the account, whatever fund is there in the account, whatever interest you have earned in the account is totally exempt from income tax. Okay, and from wealth tax as well. Are you getting this point? So any income, any interest, so entire amount placed under this NRE account, be it principal amount, so it can be your principal amount, or it can be interest, it is totally tax exempt. It is totally tax exempt, remember. Okay, so it is exempt from income tax as well as from the wealth tax. Any principal amount, any interest earned from this account, everything, principal plus interest, is totally tax exempt. Okay, that is a huge incentive given to these people, NRIs and PIOs, isn't it? So it is tax exempt, exempt from income tax, exempt from wealth tax. Remember, this is very important aspect. Okay, principal as well as interest, nothing taxable. Okay. Now, when we talk about loans in India, can loans be granted out of these funds, or can they be granted loans in India? Okay, if they have this account, let's see the situations. All right. So the other criteria is loans in India. AD here is authorized dealer. AD, wherever AD is written in your PDF, AD here means authorized dealer. Authorized dealer. Authorized dealer. Okay. Who is an authorized dealer? So basically it can be a bank. Okay. Bank or an financial institute authorized by the RBI to do all these things. Clear? Okay. Now, AD can sanction loans in India to the account holder. So these banks, these authorized dealers who are working as correspondent banks, right, they can sanction loans to these account holders in India. All those who have this account in India can be sanctioned loans by the authorized dealers, right? Can sanction loans in India to these account holders or third parties, okay, without any limit. Remember, without any limit. So yes, these account holders, or also called as third parties, can be sanctioned loan in India, from Indian banks, the authorized dealers for that matter, okay, without any limit. Without any limit. So there is no limit as such, but these loans will be subject to margin requirement, will be subject to usual margin requirement. So there is no credit limit as such, but they should adhere to the ongoing margin requirements in the country. Getting this point? What is the margin requirement? Margin requirement is margin requirement. What is margin requirement? It is the difference in the value of collateral and the loan amount. So basically, the thing which you keep as collateral, security against the loan, value of that collateral minus value of your loan amount. So difference between your collateral's value and the value of your amount of your loan, amount of your loan, the difference is your margin requirement. So whatever margin requirement is going on in your country, that has to be adhered to, otherwise there is no credit limit as such. Clear? Right? So this is the thing which you should remember. Can they be given loan from India? Yes. Any limit? No. Then what is the condition? Margin requirement. What is margin requirement? Difference between the value of collateral and the value of loan, as I told you, right? These loans cannot be repatriated outside. Loans cannot be repatriated, okay, outside India, and can be used in India only for the purposes specified in the regulations. This is something which you need to remember. We have seen that it is fully repatriable. The funds received, remittances received can be sent back to the source of origin, but loans received cannot be sent back outside India. Remember this, okay? Loans received by the NRI account holder cannot be repatriated outside India. Clear? Okay. So always remember that these loans can be granted, but these loans cannot be repatriated outside India. They can only be used in India for the purposes which are specifically mentioned in your regulations regarding these things. Is it clear? Okay, right? Are you able to understand these things? Okay, so this is the thing. Then in case of loans sanctioned to a third party or the NRE account holder, there should be no direct or indirect foreign exchange consideration. Foreign exchange consideration, that means any foreign currency benefit cannot be given to loans granted to these NRE account holders in India. This is to be remembered. Okay. For the non-resident depositor agreeing to pledge his deposits to enable the resident individual firm company to obtain such facilities. Now, specifically to say, so in case of loans sanctioned to this third party, there should be no any direct foreign currency consideration, foreign exchange consideration, or indirectly as well. Neither directly nor indirectly for the non-resident depositor agreeing to pledge his deposits to enable the resident individual or firm to obtain such facilities. If that non-resident depositor is ready to put something as collateral, okay, to pledge his deposits there so that the resident individual can obtain such loan. So if the NRE account holder wants to pledge his funds, okay, put his funds or any asset as security, so that any resident here, or that can be a resident individual, a firm or a company who can obtain such loan through this NRE account, but in that case no foreign exchange consideration can be provided, no foreign exchange benefit can be provided, advantage can be provided. No, it cannot be provided. So remember this. Are you able to get this, right? This is another provision. Then in case of the loan sanctioned to the account holder, it can be repaid either by adjusting the deposits, whichever deposits are there. So when the loan is given to the account holder, by which all mechanisms that loan can be repaid, that loan can be repaid through the deposits which are there in the bank account, or through inward remittances. The remittances coming to that account can also be used to repay that loan taken by the account holder. Clear? Remittances can also be used, receiving from outside India, okay, or through banking channels, other banking channels, okay, if you have taken loan from other bank as well, okay, so other banking channels can also be used to repay the loan, or out of balances held in the NRO account. If you have NRO account as well, we will do what is NRO account after this NRE. So if you have balances in your NRO account as well, those balances can also be used to repay this loan. So this will be the mechanism of paying back the loan, okay, either through the deposits which are there, through the remittances the account holder is receiving, okay, through other banking channels, or through any other NRO account deposits if they are there. In any case, if the account holder has any NRO account, okay, account, those deposits of NRO account can also be used to repay the loan taken by the NRE account holder. Clear? Right? Now, next thing. The facility for premature withdrawal of deposits will not be available where loans against such deposits are availed of. So, if you have an NRE account, you have deposits in that account. Suppose there is a limit that only by this time you can withdraw your deposits, okay, suppose there is a fixed deposit. So if it says that only by 12 months, after 12 months you can withdraw your deposits, for example, just taking an example, right? But if you have availed loan against those deposits, okay, if you have availed loans against such deposits, then you cannot pre-withdraw the deposits. Is this clear? If you have availed loan against these deposits. You want to use these deposits, for example, to repay the loan. Then you cannot pre-withdraw the amount. Are you getting this point? Then you cannot pre-withdraw the amount. So pre-withdrawal in this case will not be allowed. Clear? And one more thing, the term loan shall include wherever loan is written over here, it means your fund based facilities as well as your non-fund based facilities, both. Right? So wherever loan is there, loan can be in form of funds, and there are other instruments as well through which loan is given, like letter of credit, bank guarantees. You must be knowing, right? So letter of credit issued by a bank, then directly the bank pays. Okay, so you can have loan wherever loan is written. Loan means fund based, where directly there is an immediate release of fund as a loan, fund based facilities, or there can be non-fund based facilities as well. There can be non-fund based facilities as well. What are your non-fund based facilities? So examples are like letter of credit, letters of credit. Then you have these bank guarantees, right? Bank guarantees. All these things are also kind of a loan, but they are not funds as such. Okay, they are the different mechanisms. Clear? So this is the thing, right? So always remember, loan wherever written means fund based as well as non-fund based. Okay. Loans outside India. Loans outside India. So what does the NRI account holder can do for with regard to loans outside India? So authorized dealers, again, as I told you, authorized dealers, the banks or institutes authorized by RBI to do these things, may allow their branches which are there in abroad, branches or correspondents, as we call, correspondent banking we have studied, right? Correspondent outside India. So if there is an authorized dealer in India and that AD or that bank has a branch, say in US or some other country, so for that matter the AD may allow their branch or correspondent outside India to grant loans to or in favor of non-resident depositor or to third party at the request of the depositor for bona fide purpose against the security of funds held in the NRI, FCNRB accounts in India, subject to usual margin requirement. Again, since Indian authorized dealer, when they grant loans, cannot be used outside India. This is the first thing which we have done, right? They can be used inside India only for any purpose, right? But if there is a non-resident depositor, so there is a loan, okay, in favor of non-resident depositor or to any third party, which is at the request of the depositor, any third party at the request of that depositor having the NRI account, okay, against the security of funds held in that account. So that fund is placed as security, NRE account or FCNRB account placed as collateral or security, and then the person requests the branch of that authorized dealer account in some other country to grant loan to that third party. That can be done, but it will be subject to usual margin requirement, right? That would be subject to usual margin requirement. Okay. Now, if we talk about the rate of interest as per guidelines issued by Department of Regulation, what will be the rate of interest on the loan taken by these account holders or the depositors, or on the deposit as provided by the authorized dealer? So that interest will be decided by whom? That will be decided by your Department of Regulation. So you know there are various departments under RBI. So your Department of Regulation will decide on the guidelines of Department of Regulation, these interest rates will be decided for NRE account holder. Clear? So interest rate with regard to NRE accounts will be decided by Department of Regulation. Clear? Okay. Now there is another thing which says operations by power of attorney in favor of a resident. So as I have told you, there is a provision of power of attorney that on the behalf of that account holder, a resident in India can operate that account not as a joint account holder but only as a power of attorney during his lifetime. When the person when there is a demise of that person, then after you can operate it as a joint account holder. Otherwise, when the person is alive, you can only operate it or work as a power of attorney, that is on behalf of that person. Right? So here operations by power of attorney in favor of a resident says operations in the account, any operation, transaction, operating the account, okay, in terms of power of attorney is restricted. If you want to operate this NRE account as power of attorney, it will be restricted to withdrawals for permissible local payments, okay, or remittances to the account holder himself through normal banking channels. This is something which you should remember, that resident relative can be allowed to play a role of power of attorney, but what all authorities are given to that person when he or she is working as a power of attorney? What he or she can do with the bank account. So very clearly specified that operations in account in terms of power of attorney are restricted to what all operations can you do, can you operate as a power of attorney. You can withdraw money out of it for permissible local payments, only for local payments, okay, not any payment to outside India. You can withdraw that money for permissible local payments. That too has to be permissible as per the regulations or guidelines. Okay. So you can withdraw the amount for the permissible local payments, or you can send these funds as remittances to the original account holder only, right? Through your normal banking channels. Through your normal banking channels. Okay. Right? So this is the thing. Then just give me a second, okay? All right. Now another criteria here is change. No, this is not to be changed. Okay. Change in residential status from non-resident to resident. If there is a change in the status from non-resident to resident, then what happens to the account, right? NRE accounts should be designated as resident accounts, or the funds held in these accounts may be transferred to the RFC, resident foreign currency accounts, at the option of the account holder, right? Immediately upon the return of the account holder to India for taking up employment or change in the residential status. So now suppose there was a person, okay, residing outside India, having NRE account in India. Now if the person wants to change his residential status, coming back to India for example, okay, finding employment in India, so that means a longer stay period, right? So residential status will change. In that matter, for that matter, the NRE account can be designated as your resident foreign currency account here, okay, RFC account. resident. So that will be called as your resident account, but resident foreign currency account. Are you getting this point? The funds lying there held in these could be transferred to this account then, if you want to change your residential status. Then it will no longer be NRE, rather it would be resident foreign currency account. Then it would be resident foreign currency account. So it cannot merge directly with the normal banking system, no, but you can transfer those funds to a new account, say resident foreign currency account, or that account can be designated as resident foreign currency account, RFC. Clear? Okay. That would be at the option of the account holder, if the account holder wants to do that. Clear? At the option of the account holder, right? Immediately upon the return of the account holder, whenever he or she returns. Okay. Say for taking up employment in India or change in the residential status, if he or she takes up employment in India, that would mean a long-term stay and that would automatically change the residential status. Right? So these things are clear to you. Okay. Now, there are certain miscellaneous provisions as well. What are they? Gift to close relative or loan to close relative subject to say this much US dollar, okay, may also be provided to the resident close relatives. A close relative is as again defined under the section 2 clause 77 of the Companies Act, okay, Companies Act 2013. Another important provision is that any gift by that NRE account holder or any loan, if that NRE account holder wants to give to his resident close relative who is a close relative, that can be done subject to how much amount? 2,50,000 US dollars per financial year. Are you getting this point? Not more than that. So that can be their gift amounting to this much amount, or loan to a close relative only up to say 2,50,000 US dollars, USD, 2,50,000 USD in a financial year. Right? So this is another provision. Okay. Again, close relative defined by your Companies Act 2013, which we will look right now. Okay. Banks may also allow temporary overdraft is facilities there, right? When you can withdraw the amount which is not even there in your account. Okay. Bank might charge some extra interest or fees or charges from you, right? But sometimes this facility is provided, so you can overdraw. Can you have overdraft facility in your NRE account as well? Yes, bank may allow temporary overdrawing up to how much rupees? You should remember, up to rupees 50,000 in NRE saving account. Up to rupee 50,000. Up to rupee 50,000 in which type of NRE account? In NRE saving account. In which type of NRE account? NRE saving account. Okay. However, such overdrafts must be cleared within 2 weeks by remittance from abroad or from any other NRE account. You can overdraw from your NRE account as well up to say 50,000 rupees as specified here. Okay. Up to 50,000 rupees, but that overdraw has to be settled up within 2 weeks, either by remittances which you receive in your account or by transfer from any other NRE or FCNR account. Is this clear? Right? So this is another important provision. Remember all these particulars. Okay. Now, as we have seen while describing the entire provisions about this account, that number of times the relative is written as defined by the Companies Act. So what does the Companies Act 2013 gives as provisions or criteria to classify someone as the relative of the non-resident. Okay, who can be that relative with whom to whom say the NRE account holder can transfer loan, can give gifts, right? Who can work as a power of attorney, all these things. So who is the relative for this matter as defined by this clause of your Companies Act. Okay, so clause 77 section 2 of Companies Act 2013 provides the definition of relative as under: relative with reference to any person means anyone who is related to another. So that would mean any person related to that person, NRE account holder. If what kind of relations can these be? Okay, who can be your relative? What kind of relation will be considered as a relative for that matter? Okay, if those people who you call as relatives are members of Hindu undivided family, as you know, right? Either they are husband or wife. Relative can be husband or wife, right? One person is related to other in such manner as may be prescribed. Okay, as may be prescribed. So here Rule 4 of Companies Specification of Definitions Details Rules 2014 provides list of relatives in terms of clause 77(2) as mentioned above, which is as under: a person shall be deemed to be the relative of another if he or she is related to another in following manner. So you have two sets of rules, two kind of relations can be there. First, member of Hindu undivided family. Either you are husband and wife or one person. So this is one set of relation. Another is given here. What all other relations can be considered for classifying that person as your relative for this particular NRE account matter. Okay. So that these criteria are: first, father, provided that the term father includes stepfather as well. So your relative is your father or stepfather as well. Okay, or you are the father or stepfather. It can be from both the sides. Are you getting my point? So father can be there, and the term father also includes stepfather. You can be mother. Either of them can be a mother, right? You never know. Either the NRE account holder is a mother or the relative is the mother. Whosoever is the mother also includes a stepmother. Okay. Then son, one of them can be son of the other. Okay, provided that the son also includes a stepson. Okay, son's wife can be the relative. Son's wife. Daughter can be the relative. Daughter's husband can be the relative. Brother, provided that the term brother includes a step brother as well. Clear? Sister, provided that the term sister includes step sister as well. Okay, so all these relations are specified in your Companies Act, and on the basis of this, who is a relative will be decided for the matter of NRE account holding. So this was all about your NRE account, right? We have discussed all the dimensions which are there, all the features which are there with regard to NRE account in detail, right? All the things. I hope you understood this, and from the next session, as I told you, case study based questions can be asked, like these kind of questions: whether the following transactions pertaining to person ABC who has gone abroad in say January 2016 and now is in India on a temporary visit, so is an NRI, okay, permissible, and if yes, to which account? So which transactions can be done, which account they will require. So you need to remember each and every clause which we discussed in NRE account to answer these questions separately, A, B, C, D, E, in these kind of case study based questions, right? I'll take up this case study for you in the next class. Till then, you can take a screenshot of this. You can try to answer these questions as per the things which we have discussed so far, NRE, all the features of the NRE account. Then in the next class, we will see what are the answers of these questions. Okay, it will be interesting to solve them if you are able to remember or recall all the features of NRI account and all these things which we have discussed today. You can take a screenshot and can try to attempt these questions of the case study. We will have, after every type of bank account we do, every type of NRI account we do, we will have these kind of case study questions, just to let you know how the structure can be of the question. Okay, so you need to understand, you need to remember what all the provisions out of the bank account, right? So this is how in this much detail they can ask. So you should remember the entire features, right? We will try solving this case study, all these questions A, B, C, D, E in the next class. I hope this was useful for you today, and thank you so much. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next class. Okay, thank you.